Morning time. How you guys doing? What we're gonna do today is we're gonna talk about the giveaway before we get into the thumbnail where it was that huge number across the screen. So hold on, I'll be right back. We're gonna show the rules real fast. Hi guys, it's Will, just in time prepping. How you guys doing? Hey, today I want to talk to you guys about something. We did the pre-show commercial, as you can see before this, but this is where we're going to come right down to talking about that 329,294,447.2 number that we saw at the beginning. It'll be in a thumbnail right back here behind me, and it covers, that is the number of people in the United States. Now, the rest of the equation there is this, is that 68 million of those people are actually being preppers, or people that prepare for any event that may happen, whether it be a man-made event, act of God, or anything like that. The Teowaki, the end of the world as we know it, Teowaki, and that could come at any time as well. So that is why I am making this video today. 68 million people are actually preppers out of the 329 million, or 329,294,447.2 people in the United States. So, as you can see, 68 million really is not that big of a share. It is actually under a quarter of all Americans who are actually considered to be preppers, bushcrafters, homesteaders, or anything like that. So, with that said, I want to just go into a few things. Everybody has busy lives. We understand that, and as we go through this list of stuff that I have here for you, there will be things coming up in the background here on either side of me, or maybe even taking up the whole background of things that I consider myself being uh, uh, things of interest for this type of event. Now, I'm going to be reading some stuff off of my notes down here. So, we're going to talk about the people in the United States that are not preppers. But if you're not preppers, that's fine. We don't push our way of life off on you at all. Don't get me wrong. We don't want you to do anything you don't want to do. But at the same time, you should still be prepared for some sort of event that would happen in your areas, such as a flood or an earthquake or something like that, some sort of act of God. So that's the reasoning behind this. This is for people that don't live the prepping or homesteading or bushcrafting lifestyle, because we're far more prepared than the people are that are not. But at the same time, even if you're not in that niche of life or anything, life gets way busy for all of us. I understand that. But if you're not, you should still be at least prepared for whatever might come your way as a way of being an shtf situation for you. Whether it be a flood or an earthquake or something like that, something that is specific to your area. So with that said, I'm going to go into this. And this is according to FEMA, is what I'm going to read to you right now. And according to FEMA, it's telling you to eat salt-free crackers, or whole grain cereal or canned foods that have high liquid content. And that is if an event should happen in your area and you really can't get out and take care of things outside your area. So if you eat salt-free crackers, make sure you eat whole grain cereal and you eat canned foods that are high with liquid content. You want to keep your body hydrated. Another thing during a disastrous event that is vital is to maintain your strength. You want to make sure that you're not just sitting around waiting for help to come or whatever. You want to at least eat one balanced meal a day in order to keep your strength up. That's important. Now, these are just ideas for people that don't are not in the prepping niche or don't think that they need to be. These are just things that you should do in an event of a catastrophe in your area. So during that disaster, you should have a checklist of things that you should do. That is now this is not according to preppers by far. Okay, this is according to your federal government. They put out guidelines for people to at least be somewhat prepared in case something should happen in your area. So some of those things that you may want to be prepared for is make sure that you have your prescription medication always on hand and maybe perhaps be a little bit ahead of the schedule on them so that if you can't get out, you can actually outlast the disaster or whatever the event. Also, make sure that you have your reading glasses or prescription glasses. Make sure you have an extra pair of them, okay? Also, you want to make sure that you have formula or diapers if you have small children. Make sure you have a few extra of those. Pet food, if you have pets in your home, make sure that you have enough to cover them in case a disaster hits. We take for granted way too much that we just buy enough of what we have, but that's really not how we should live. The times that we live in right now are kind of disastrous all by themselves. So we want to make sure that you're taking care of these small things that you take for granted every day. So make sure you have enough pet food to last. Say something should happen, last for a few days longer. Say 30 days or 60 days or something like that. Just have it put off somewhere. Make sure you have enough water for them because you're going to be wanting to make sure that you're staying hydrated. So you don't want to be giving your pets and stuff water that you have planned for yourself, if that makes any sense to you. The other thing is to make sure that you have documentation available in a nice watertight spot. Like I myself use a safe. I use a safe that is waterproof. When you close it, lock it up, it seals so that nothing can get into it. Water can't get in there or anything like that. It's watertight. So that would be something that you would want to make sure that you're taking care of in case a tornado or a flood or earthquake or something like that should happen in your area. Then those documents would be handy. Another thing is you want to keep on. Sorry, I have allergies. Another thing you want to think about keeping on hand would be cash or traveler's checks, or even some coins. Coins are pretty good. Make sure you have extra of that. I know it's tough in these days of not having that stuff, but you need to make sure that you have that stuff in order to survive. That's just something that needs to be during allergies. Here's some other tips that you might want to consider. Is you might consider having, and I have this stuff only because I like to go fishing and camping, but think about having a sleeping bag or some warm blankets around, or perhaps even additional bedding considering the climate that you live in. If a catastrophe hits and it's like in the cold winter, you would definitely want to have some extra clothing So those are some things that you may want to think about having. Another thing is to make sure you have a complete change of clothing. You could get in a flood or something and have to go outside and come back in. You may want to make sure that you have plenty of clothing on hand, okay? I know these are simple, stupid things I'm saying, but some people take it for granted and just don't really realize it. So even though you think it might be not effectual for you, may affect somebody down the road. So make sure you have plenty of clothes. You can always layer up, but you can't layer down. Uh, you can always take clothes off, but you can't add them on sometimes. So you want to make sure you have plenty of clothing. Also, you want to make sure you have some household bleach. Now, that's not the scented kind, the foo-foo kind, or the kind that have chemicals in them for cleaning, but just regular old bleach because your water system or whatever you get your water from may become compromised. And so you want to make sure that you have some of that on hand so you can use it. You can always add stuff to it to make it for cleaning and stuff, but you want to keep it just regular bleach so that, say, your water gets compromised, you'll have a way to purify it. Now, you know you're going to have to purify it, so if you're going to use it for a disinfectant, just use one part water with your bleach, and then it becomes something where you can go around and you can clean surfaces, wipe stuff down, get the microbes and stuff off of your countertops and whatnot. Make sure everything's going to be working just perfectly fine. But if you're going to go do something like purify your water, you're going to have to take a little bit of drastic steps towards that. You're going to have to put 16 drops, and you should have an eyedropper around from if you have kids. Everybody has an eyedropper to use for their children's eyes or in their ears or whatever. So take a dropper, take 16 drops of it, put it in the bleach and the water, and that'll purify your water. The bleach goes into the uh, compromised water, and then it will actually purify it. You'll have to let it sit. Don't drink it right away. You have to let it sit for 24 hours, but it can be done. Another thing to think about, and a lot of people don't think about this, is make sure that you have fire extinguishers around your home. Not those little cheap things that you get at Walmart or anything. Make sure you're getting one that's going to cover several types of fires and stuff. And make sure that you have matches and make sure they're in a waterproof container and stuff like this. You may want to have some feminine supplies around for and hygiene items. These are all just things that you need to have extra of, not stuff that you use every day, but extra. You might want to have something like a mess kit. You can go to Army Surplus, get you a mess kit and stuff, and you could get one of those. You can have stored up like paper cups, paper plates, and plastic forks and spoons. These are all things that would come in handy in case of a disaster coming through your community and taking things out. Also, you want to think about having like some small playing cards or board games and stuff like that. And that will keep your kids busy while you're trying to figure out how to get yourself out of those situations and whatnot. So you want to figure out that you have enough water to be 1 gallon per person for every person in your group, and that's a day. You want to make sure you have a gallon per person per day, and that is actually for drinking, cooking, and personal hygiene. And as far as food goes, you want to make sure that you have not just the food that you have in your cupboards and stuff. You want to make sure that you have extra food, enough to cover, it depends on yourself, but 30 to 60 days worth of food. And that is according to a FEMA report put out. So If you could also go to FEMA.gov and get the same things I'm telling you today, but I'm just telling you now that they're saying anywhere from 30-day minimum to 120-day maximum, which would be 4 months. And 6 months would not be too much to ask for. You may want to get some battery powered flashlights and just regular lights. And you can also make sure that you have plenty of batteries on hand. What I like to do myself is I don't like to have all those batteries laying around. So I go to Walmart. You can even get them online. I think Amazon has them and whatnot, but I like to get the kind that you crank for power or even a solar one because batteries can get wet and go bad, or you could just sit there and let them forget about them and they lose power. So if you just have something like a wind up flashlight, radio, things like that, or solar powered, those work a whole lot better than the battery powered ones. Also, think about having a whistle. Just a whistle comes in handy. I have a whistle. I have a survival stick that has a whistle on it. I'm a prepper, so all my bags have whistles in them. But have a whistle somewhere in your house. If something happens and you're looking out, you don't really see anybody around. You can blow a whistle so people know you're there and they'll come looking for you. So that's a good thing to have around. Another good thing to have around, and I have them right here, is just to have something like a dust mask. Don't have to be real fancy, but it will keep the particulates out of your nose and mouth and stuff, and it will protect you in an emergency. So just have them around. I think that back there's 5 of them in there. I think it cost me $1 for 5 of them. So it's not going to really break the bank on you or anything like that. You might want to consider having moist towelettes around or even garbage bags with plastic ties. Plenty of garbage bags because if it's a really bad event, you may have to use them to take your feces and stuff and be able to get rid of them because if something really bad happens, the toilet's probably not going to work. So you may want to have garbage bags with plastic ties, and that's just to take care of your personal sanitation, okay? Also, you're going to want to have, most preppers have a key. It's called a utility key. It's like a four-way wrench for tires, only it's for like your water supplies and stuff like that. But you could have also a, a regular, like a crescent wrench or some pliers, and that would work as well. So there's some stuff that you need to have right there. Excuse me. Another thing to have is a can opener. I'm not saying the electric one up on the counter. I'm saying a small one, a hand crank one. You can get them at the dollar store. excuse, excuse me. You can get them at the dollar store, or you can buy those little P38s. I like to have those. I throw those into my bags. Another, and this is the last thing I'm going to cover, is you want to have maps. You want to make sure that you have maps of your local area. Now, you can buy maps and you can buy maps. Most places will just have them sitting for you to take free ones of. But the best ones to get are the ones that are laminated so that they're waterproof, they're weatherproof, and all that stuff. But you can actually buy regular maps, and they do have, excuse me, they do have spray that you can buy that you can spray your maps down, and it will make like a plastic film over them, and it will keep them from getting water, water or any kind of debris into them so that you can't read them. So these are just things I want you guys to think about as being non-preppers. These are non-prepping items that you can get and just have stored away in a cupboard in your house or down in the basement in a tote or whatever. And they're just things that will just help you get by the regular everyday stuff. You don't want to make sure that your family's going to be safe. And so, like I said, there are 300 and some million people in America, and there's only 68 million of them that are preppers. But if you're one of those non-preppers, the list that I just gave you would be a list to keep you alive for up to 60 days and keep your family safe until someone can come and rescue you or come and take you away to a safe place or something like that. All right, you guys, gonna be a long video this time, but it's gonna be well worth it. I really hope that you guys watch it all the way to the end because there's a lot of good information in here. If you're not a prepper, consider becoming one because that way you can prepare over time. And most of us know all the things on this list already, but at the same time, you don't have to work hard to get them. Most of us are prepared for up to a year, some of us 2 years, so make sure that you are always prepared. If you're not a prepper, at least get the stuff to keep your family safe. All right, you guys, that's what I got for you. I hope that you guys have a great day. I hope you guys have a great life. As always, it's God bless you, God bless me, God bless US of A. Thanks for watching, you guys.